Okay, good afternoon, my fellow Empower People superheroes, and welcome to the second part of my contribution to the Empower People Committee. In our previous session, we delved into the world of business risks, exploring how to identify and mitigate them effectively. Today, we're diving into another essential aspect of safeguarding your business, insurance. Get ready to discover the superhero powers of insurance and how they can fortify your business against unforeseen challenges. Um, by the end of our time together, you'll be equipped to understand your basic business insurance needs, find ways to identify the right coverage and carrier for your business, and effectively manage your business insurance in the long-term course of your business operations. If there are any topics that were not covered or any questions you may have, I ask that all questions are saved for the end of our Q&A session. So let's see here. So we went through that. I am Millie Corsoro, as Tiffany had mentioned. I'm your guide through today's exploration of insurance. By day, I serve as Empower People's guardian of the community and account executive at Relation Insurance Services Select, one of the nation's top independent brokerage. We're actually the 23rd largest brokerage in the country. When I'm not superheroing in the insurance world, you can find me immersed in ventures with my family, volunteering with our local Girl Scout troop, or just enjoying some serene moments by the James River with my family. My passion lies in collaborating with my clients to uncover solutions that effectively address their needs. Sometimes that can even fall out of the insurance realm. So if there's anything else that you might feel that I could be a good connection, feel free to reach out to me anytime and I'm happy to connect because I like to consider myself a collaborator in the community and a connector. So let's start off with what exactly is business insurance? Business insurance is a type of insurance coverage designed to protect businesses from potential financial losses due to unexpected losses. It's your shield from the unexpected. Designed to safeguard your business's financial assets from unexpected events, it ensures continuity in the face of adversity. Assets can include financial, intellectual, and physical property. Insurance provides financial support in case of property damage, legal liability, income loss, or employee injuries or illness. From protecting your physical property to mitigating legal liabilities, insurance is your partner in resilience and growth. These specific types of insurance you may need vary based on factors like your industry, location, and the number of employees in your business. Regularly reviewing your business needs is crucial as your business grows and evolves. As your business evolves, so too must your insurance coverage. Regular reviews are essential to staying ahead of potential risks. So the first start, we're going to start with commercial property insurance. This is really the foundation of any business insurance policy. Commercial property insurance is as simple as it sounds. This type of insurance covers property and helps to cover the cost to repair or replace business property such as buildings, equipment, or inventory. This essential coverage shields your business property from perils of fire, storms, or other calamities. Whether it's your building structure, equipment, or inventory, commercial property insurance steps in to cover the repair or replacement costs, keeping your operations running smoothly. There's a couple different types of commercial property insurance, and I'm going to briefly describe them here. The first one is going to be your building coverage. This is going to safeguard the physical structure and any installed machinery or equipment that's vital to your business. It covers the physical structure and can include structures you own or properties you are responsible for insuring, such as something that you might lease or something that you may have a loan on that is not quite fully paid off, and that the borrower requires you to carry insurance on that. This coverage helps pay for the repairs or replacement of any completed additions, fixtures, including outdoor fixtures, or permanently installed machinery and equipment if your business suffers from damages due to fire, storms, or other covered event. The second type of commercial property insurance is going to be the business personal property. I like to use the tip of imagining that you take your building and you shake it and you pull it upside down and you shake it. Anything that falls out of that building is what is going to be considered business personal property. It protects contents like furniture, equipment, and inventory within or near your premises. It covers the contents of buildings such as furnitures and fixtures, machinery and equipment, stock or inventory, or any improvement or betterments made a tenant makes to a rented space or leased personal property you're responsible to insure. Most policies cover personal property within or up to 100 feet of the insured building. And we'll cover a little bit on the other type of business personal property, which it goes by a different name. It's called inland marine, on anything that would fall outside of that 100 feet. And then the third type of commercial property is going to be personal property of others. And it's often overlooked. This is coverage that is extended to property in your care, custody, and control, including borrowed or customer-owned items. And like business personal property coverage applies to properties within 100 feet of the insured building. In this type of insurance scenario, if a claim is filed, it's going to pay the property owner and not the policy holder. And I had covered a little bit about inland marine. We're going to cover that a little bit deeper here. Despite its name, inland marine insurance has nothing to do with the sea. It's all about protecting property on the move. From equipment and transport to materials stored off-site, inland marine coverages ensures that your business assets are safeguarded wherever they may roam. Essential for businesses with mobile operations or valuable assets requiring specialized protection. Inland marine is a specialized type of property insurance that covers material, equipment, and other valuable items that are not within 100 feet of the property scheduled on the policy, whether in transit or stored away from your business's primary location. For example, inland marine covers a property in a commercial auto or property temporarily stored at a job site in industries that regularly transport property as part of their regular operations. Inland marine is essential for certain highly valuable or unique types of property that traditional property insurance may exclude, or should be part of your business insurance package for business property that may in transit or stored outside. This type of coverage is usually required coverage for anyone that would have equipment or inventory that they're going to be using in between locations, between their business premises, or like, let's say you're a food truck vendor. That's a case where you're gonna have property in the truck, in storage places, at a restaurant if you have a location, and every single of those scenarios you're gonna be looking at a different type of property insurance to cover that. So it's a good idea to have a conversation with if you're working with an agent, to have that conversation of what operations are going to look like, because then that way they can make sure that everything is properly covered. So then the next type of business insurance that everybody normally thinks about is the general liability. And this is what we're going to call the guardian against your legal woes. From bodily injury to product mishaps, liability coverage shields your business from financial losses arising from legal claims. Whether it's general liability, we call it, and it goes by a couple other names. We can call it commercial general liability, or GL, or CGL, business liability insurance, BL. So whether it's general liability, product liability, or professional liability, each form of coverage offers tailored protection against specific risks inherent to your business operations. General liability, as I said, is also known as commercial general liability or business liability insurance. Protects your business against claims related to bodily injury, property damage, or reputational harm caused by your business operations. This coverage would cover legal defense costs and potential settlements. So if a customer slips and gets injured in your store, GL insurance can cover their medical expenses. Or if advertising causes harm to another business's reputation, GL insurance would step in and help with those legal costs. The next type of liability insurance is product liability insurance, and this would cover you in a financial loss resulting from defects or problems with products that your business is involved with. It protects against claims related to injuries or property damage caused by your products. If someone is harmed by your product, or your product causes illness, your product damages someone's property, or in tragic circumstances where a product leads to someone's death, this insurance provides support and covers the medical expenses and legal costs. Types of defects covered include design defects or errors in the product's design, manufacturing defects or flaws in the manufacturing process, marketing defects such as inadequate instructions, improper warnings because of lack of proper usage warnings, or strict liability. It would not cover software and IT issues, as this type of insurance does not cover coding mistakes or software errors causing financial harm or product recall. This is typically because there is another financial product that is that is offered by most insurance companies to cover these types of specific risks. Having product liability insurance ensures that your business can handle legal claims and potential damages related to your products. Going back to the software part, we are going to cover a little bit about cyber insurance. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Professional liability. That is also known as errors and omissions. This is for professionals such as doctors, lawyers, consultants, or architects, and it protects them from claims that would result from professional negligence, errors, or omissions, and covers their legal defense costs and damages resulting from mistakes or inadequate advice. Professional liability is specific to certain professions. Examples are like when a client sues an accountant for financial losses due to incorrect tax advice, or a software developer faces a lawsuit for a flawed software product, are instances in which an E&O policy would potentially limit the damages caused by these kinds of claims. And then the final form of liability insurance is employer liability insurance. That is also known as workers' comp. I have a separate slide for this one because it's a much more involved insurance product. And it helps protect your most valuable asset, and that's going to be your employees. And in most cases, it's not negotiable. And by providing this coverage for work-related injuries and illnesses, you are ensuring that your team receives the support they need while also shielding your business from potential lawsuits. Compliance is key. With most employers compliance is key because most employers are required by law to carry workers' comp. Workers' comp insurance is a crucial protection for businesses and their employees, and it serves as a trade-off. When your injured workers are injured on the job site, they're going to be receiving specific benefits, and it also protects the employers, like I had mentioned before, from civil lawsuits. The workers' comp insurance is going to cover medical treatment, wage replacement benefits, and rehabilitation services if they're injured on the job. You are, as an employer, responsible for educating your employees on work injury reporting before an injury occurs. In the event of a reported injury, you have, as an employer, you have the responsibility to immediately notify your insurer. And as I said before, it is mandatory for most employers performing work in Virginia. The general rule that I like to use is that any business with more than 2 employees is required by law to carry workers' comp insurance. Also, where it gets a little trickier is if you are hiring someone as a subcontractor or contractor to assist in your business, they must also be counted as part of your employee wages. And let's see, whether they have their own workers' comp coverage or not. Your premiums are typically determined by things like the nature of the work. So, for example, if you have a contractor, for example, and in that same business organization, there's also a secretary. Those 2 people are going to be rated completely different because of the scope of work that they do. The higher risk of the type of work you do, the higher your premium is. If you're someone that's in an office staring at a computer screen all day, you have no concerns. If you're someone that's climbing trees, for example, expect to pay a higher premium for that kind of work. So it's always good to remember that. Another factor that they consider in the premiums for workers' comp is the size of your payroll. So this is something that at the end of the year or at the end of your policy term, you're going to get what we call an audit, and it's based on your payroll. When you talk to, if you're working with an agent, what's going to happen is when you're discussing the workers' comp, you're going to give them an estimate of what your payroll looks like. And then as you're going through the year, at the end of the year, when you finalize your payroll reports with the state, they're going to use that number to base your premium on. So if you underestimated your premium at the your payroll at the beginning of the inception of the policy, what's going to happen is at the end of that policy term, you're going to receive an audit notice, and then they're going to give you a bill for the premium that you owe on that unreported payroll. However, on the other end, if you over-report your payroll, when it's time for your audit, what's going to happen is you're going to actually see a refund. It's always a good idea to be right where you need to be. It's not a good idea to overestimate. It's not a good idea to underestimate, just because that way you can keep your costs much closer to what you actually have to pay. So, and another thing that I want to point out, one more thing that is considered in your in your premium is your claims history. What does your claim history look like? So employees also are going to be the definition for employee is very broad, and it can include part-time, it can include seasonal, temporary workers, executive, managers, minors, trainees, immigrants, and working family members. One of the most important topics to cover when you are talking about your workers' comp insurance is effective risk management and having safety programs in place that can help not just reduce your costs, but also improve workplace safety. So another thing that you're going to want to do if you are someone that is not working with an agent is staying up to date on regulatory changes, because this is something that does change quite a bit within the insurance world. So a couple of things to keep in mind. Workers' comp can get pretty complicated. My recommendation, of course, as an independent agent is to always seek out someone that you trust and have that conversation with them. They're typically going to be able to help you and point you in the right direction. So. The next one that we're going to cover is commercial auto. And so this is for any business that has vehicles, or even if you don't have vehicles. As a sales rep, I spend a lot of time on the road. Commercial auto does come in to play for people in my kind of role as well too, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So whether it's for deliveries, client meetings, or service call, this coverage shields your fleet and drivers from the risks of the road. From accidents to thefts, commercial auto insurance keeps your business moving forward without missing a beat. Commercial auto is also known as business auto insurance, and it covers a business owner's fleet of vehicles as well as any hired and non-owned exposures, and covers physical damage to your business vehicles due to accident, collisions, or other covered event. And I want to go back a little bit. Hired and non-auto, all that means is that if you, like Tiffany, in your example, you are the owner of MPWRPeople. In your capacity as that, you might have a lot of shuffling in between meetings that you have to take your vehicle on. If you were to get your personal vehicle, which is issued to you personally, in a car accident, and you had commercial auto with hired and non-owned auto, you would be covered because your business doesn't have a vehicle. You can add this endorsement to your auto policy. And in the event that you are using a vehicle that is not owned by the business and you get into a car accident in the course of business operations, you're going to be covered. So, and it is a very important coverage. Increasingly, what we're seeing is on the personal auto side, the insurers are making sure that people aren't in fact using their cars in the course of business. And because we're seeing so many increases because of the number of accidents and everything else. So this is something they are watching for. So if you're someone that's using your vehicle, personal vehicle, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, I highly recommend adding this endorsement to your policy. So I just wanted to touch on that because I feel it's very important to cover that. So it also can cover it also can include coverage for non-collision events such as theft, vandalism, or fire. And it pays for medical expenses for you and your passengers if they're injured in an accident. And it protects you if you're involved in an accident with uninsured or underinsured driver. Contents inside the vehicle are not part of the commercial auto policy. Any businesses that use vehicles for business purposes, including delivery services, contractors and landscapers, and sales representatives, food trucks and catering services, should include commercial auto insurance as part of their business insurance package. And like I said, personal auto insurance policies typically exclude coverage for business related activities. It also differs from personal auto policies to account for the unique risks associated with business use of vehicles, and you can have higher coverage limits to protect your business assets. The benefit of a commercial auto insurance policy, it allows your focus to remain on the business without having to worry about vehicle related risks. And it also safeguards your businesses from financial losses from accidents or damage involving company vehicles. And in some cases, it also might help you meet legal requirements and compliance. There are additional option coverages that you can consider adding to the policy, such as towing and roadside assistance, and rental reimbursement is also available on commercial auto policies. And then like I said, you don't have coverage for the contents inside the vehicle, but you can get cargo coverage for goods that are transported in commercial vehicles. So that is another very important coverage that increasingly people are finding that they need in their business insurance packages. So the next kind that we are going to cover, and this is probably one that people don't hear a lot about and that is business interruption insurance. This is a insurance that you're going to use in the event of something does actually happen. Whether it's a fire, a natural disaster, or any other kind of disruption, it's going to step in and replace that lost income that you're gonna see when you have to shutter your business for that time. And it will also cover any additional expenses. So if you have to, for example, shut down your business because there was a fire and you had to rent another location, this insurance coverage will cover both the lost income from the fire at the existing business, as well as cover the rental cost of you having to move to another location in the time that the other location is being repaired. So in some cases, this is an important coverage depending on the kind of business that you operate. I'm unfortunate I didn't have any clients in the building, but we recently had a big fire in Patterson and Richmond. There were a lot of businesses in that building that were underinsured. And this would have been hopefully part of that package for them to cover not just, like I said, the cost of that fire at that old location, but any cost that they would incur to move to a new location to temporarily operate. And as you can see and probably understand, this is really going to help you be resilient in the face of adversity. It's also known as business income insurance. And like I said, some of the key, it's to protect against financial losses against unexpected events. Some key points about this type of coverage are its purpose and its coverage components. The purpose of this policy is to cover situations like fire, natural disasters, or other disruptions that force temporary closure or relocations, and replaces lost income if your business is unable to operate due to a covered event. The components that make up the coverage include business income coverage, which replaces any lost income during the interruption period, extra expense coverage, which pays any additional costs incurred to continue business operations, contingent business operations, which protect against losses due to disruptions at suppliers or customers' locations, and then the civil authority coverage, which applies in the event that a government order restricts access to your business due to nearby damage or any other type of governmental action that may prevent access to a building. So, and when you need to file a claim, you're going to report your business interruptions and provide the necessary documents to back up that claim. It lasts until the end of the business interruption period, and that is usually defined within your policy. You're going to want to read your policy to find that information. And there are typically waiting periods involved. They can last from 48 to 72 hours. Again, that's something that's going to be found within your policy. And it does not cover losses due to the pandemic or any pandemics, flood-related closures, broken items, or equipment breakdowns. We had an unfortunate number of businesses that did not qualify during the pandemic that unfortunately had to shutter. This would have never been a product that would have saved them in this case anyways, because it wouldn't cover COVID, for example. And then we talked a little bit about the cyber insurance. So now we're going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive on this part. It's increasingly becoming a very vital product for many businesses, regardless of the size in this digital age. Cyber threats are everywhere. This is the lifeline that you're going to need to protect your business from the financial fallout of any cyber attack. And like I said, this is something that's becoming vital for all kinds of businesses because the guys on the other side have become so savvy at targeting the right kind of businesses. So and cyber attacks look like malware and data breaches. We all spend a lot of time on the internet. We all are, aware of the news. We see this all the time, and it's unfortunate. But cyber insurance is going to help mitigate damages, and it's also going to help accelerate your recovery. Your business is going to stay ahead of any of these risks because this coverage is really designed to protect you from the financial impact. So some of the key coverage points about cyber insurance is it helps, again, the other kind of cyber attack that it would help to is the distributed denial of services attacks, or the DDoS attacks, which kind of shuts down websites. You can't really take any orders because of that. It does cover it in that case too. So your standard general liability will not cover any risks that would come about from a cyber event. So it's going to leave your company extremely vulnerable if you don't have this conversation with your insurance company or an insurance agent. The average ransomware attack costs $4.5 million. $4.5 million. And that's not including ransom payments. This is just a recovery cost. They're becoming more common and they're becoming more expensive. So cyber insurance is going to help limit that damage, and it's also going to accelerate the recovery because it's going to enhance, again, the key word when you think about insurance is resiliency. How fast can you bounce back? And the two types of coverages with insurance are the first party coverages. This pays for your direct losses, and it includes the cost of recovering your data, restoring your system, and any responses to incidents. Your repairs to your systems, and then any investigation, any deep investigation that you might have to make into figuring out how this happened. And it also is, in some cases, going to cover the cost of ransom payments. And then the third-party coverages is going to cover the damages for parties outside of your business, like customers who had their data stolen or any legal expenses that may result from lawsuits from cyber attacks. So increasingly very important. So highly recommend you have this conversation. So then we have the commercial umbrella.
We're at the 31-minute mark for the instruction. So if you want to just hit the highlights of so we can get into the Q&A, and I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. So we're going to go to real quick how to choose the right provider. I think that's more important. There's a lot of things to understand about the business insurance. You're going to want to take into consideration your risk, your coverage needs, and your provider reputation. There has been a lot of market turbulence in the insurance world, so it's increasingly becoming an important point to understand where your insurance company is sitting financially. I don't know if anybody has seen it, but one example is there was just very recently at the beginning of this week, there was a carrier, a nationally known carrier that was downgraded financially. These are going to impact your business operations. So it's important that you choose the right carrier for your needs. You will want to also check out customer reviews, and not just on the policy serving side, but also on the claim serving side. Claims are typically very, very stressful. So you want to make sure that you have someone that's on your side. Again, as I said in the beginning, working with an independent agent is always going to be helpful. They're the ones that can get the quotes for you. They can do the price shopping. They can typically help you assess your risk and build insurance packages for you based on that. So I highly recommend working with an independent agent. The most important point is making sure that you're paying attention to your coverage limits. Make sure that you have enough coverage on your buildings, on your personal property, on your liabilities, depending on the scope of your operation. I, like, for example, wouldn't recommend that a truck driver get a $500,000 liability on his business insurance. You're going to want to go a million or more because of the cost of medical expenses, trucks, and everything else. So, and then bundling. Bundling is a big thing, especially when it comes to business insurance. You have the workers' comp, you have the general liability, you have the commercial auto. If you can get those all into one company, you're typically going to be able to get a better rate because of that. And then finally, we'll quickly go over how to manage your business insurance at your renewal. Again, this is the same thing as you're setting it up. You're going to want to watch your coverage limits. A great way to save on the premium right away is having a higher deductible. How much cushion can your business absorb, and how much higher can you go on a deductible so that your premium is a little bit lower? And then you're going to want to consider any changes in your business operations that may have happened over the last year. Things like equipment, revenue changes, or expansions are certainly going to impact your insurance needs. And then claims history. If you've had anything that happened in the last year, you're going to want to take a look at any trends and patterns that you're recognizing and mitigate those, implement safety programs, and demonstrate to your insurer your commitment to safety. And then if you find that it's time to shop around, you're going to want to get a bunch of quotes from a few carriers, compare and contrast. And my biggest tip here is you can shop on price. I recommend shopping on value, and that looks like what does my insurance coverage cover if something were to happen. Again, the key word is going to be resiliency. If something were to happen, what can I count on to bounce back? Insurance is, there's a saying that says, and I like to use it a lot. Insurance is a great product for when you've thought of everything, right? Risk is that thing that's left over when you think you've thought of everything. And that's what insurance is really for, to protect you, help you bounce back. And then just keep monitoring through the term, not just through renewal. You're going to want to go over the whole year and just make sure that you're properly covered, staying proactive. And if you do have an agent, keep that relationship open because it's vital to your success. And if they don't have the information, they're not going to give you the best advice because they don't have all the information. So by mastering the art of insurance management, you'll not only protect your business, but also empower yourself to thrive in the face of uncertainty. So I hope that this has been a helpful half hour. And I didn't make it too boring with business insurance. I know it's not exactly the most thrilling topic, but it's necessary.
I'm sure people are sitting there with their popcorn and their drink on. what's happening next. So I want to thank everybody on Facebook who's tuned in. We're now going to go to the Q&A segment, but you have to be an Empower People member to participate. So go to the empowerpeople.org/join. It's in the comments, and I'll see everybody on Facebook later.